Well, hello everyone. I know it's been a while since I talked about Kenshi, but I am back into playing it again. Just need to get familiar with the new changes before I start streaming again. So, just a quick rundown on the recent updates and my thoughts on it. There will be a link to this in the description. This roughly outlines what the developers are going for here, and I fully support them in this. Heavy armor has penalties to dexterity and attack skills, and even to damage itself. It is very restrictive, as it was before, but they're toning back on the recent nerfs that they did, like samurai armor in particular. They brought down all of the coverages, so you're more likely to take damage while wearing it, and that just defeated the whole purpose of wearing heavy armor in the first place. So now the protections are back to where it is, but there are more penalties. So your tank will be a great tank, but he will be diminished in doing everything else. Medium armor is, of course, middle of the line. That's exactly what it's meant to be. For generalists, scouts, traders, people who need to be mobile or fulfill multiple roles as necessary. And then light armor is for basically glass cannons, like the example they use here are duelists. And they can even give you damage bonuses, dexterity bonuses, things like that, which I actually find to be kind of silly. Like, why would you be more dexterous in rags than naked? Well, I don't know, whatever. They changed the way things are displayed. I'll bring that up now. Let's take a look at the samurai armor right here. The cut resistance and the cut converted to blunt are on separate lines now. This is actually what it used to be, 81%. That's what it was in my most recent test. 81% with 8% conversion. And now it's on separate lines. It's still 81% cut damage resisted, but only 73% is actually gone. The other 8% is converted. But here are the effects we're talking about. Stealth effect, 23% multiplier. Crossbow effect, that's new. It used to be heavy armor, didn't affect you. Dodge skill, significant, that's normal. Combat speed, that's normal. Dexterity effect, 10% penalty. Attack damage, 10% penalty. Assassination skill, 50% penalty. Then melee attack and martial arts bonuses, or penalties, sorry. That's significant. Martial arts has been actually nerfed by this. You don't see people running around in full samurai gear anymore. Even at max level, if you had full samurai gear, you wouldn't be able to use the best attacks. Which makes sense. You just wouldn't be agile enough. You wouldn't be mobile enough. Melee attack bonus. That's a change. Exactly what I was talking about before, where your tanks, they're not going to do anything especially well other than tanking anymore. I mean, compare samurai armor over there to black plate over here. Black plate is down to 15% stun conversion now from, I believe it was 40%. It still has full coverage. It still has 40% acid protection. It has only a 20% crossbow penalty, dodge penalty, and 10% dex penalty, and 5 martial arts. This is a significantly better option for a damage dealer or for a, in my example, scout. Then you could look at, there was one in here somewhere. Oh, leather, no, it's undershirt. Oh, sorry, no, that was in game. It's not on the sheet here. And this was put together recently by someone else. Black and chainmail has been significantly nerfed. 20% cut conversion now. Cut resistance is at 31 and 22% blunt resist. But look at those penalties. 15% dex, 3% combat speed, which is completely negligible. 10% dodge, 30% crossbows, and 22% stealth. That 15% dex is a significant reduction in damage. but it's worth it. This is still worth it, unless you want your enemy to die as quickly as possible. And again, it's not on the sheet here. I wish I brought it up. But Assassin's Rags, I believe, have a 30% dexterity modifier, 30% boost. So give your glass cannons that, give them a katana, and just let them go at it. But that's not all that's been changed. There's also armor piercing now, which I actually did a post recently. I can't bring it up right now. But I have the formula for how that works. Actually, screw it. I could do that. There it is. So that's a formula. The end damage is the incoming damage modified by the resistance, which is modified by the armor piercing. The very simple way of saying it is that a 30% armor penetration means that the armor is reduced by 30% before damage is applied. A 30% armor piercing penalty will actually mean that the armor is increased by 30%. But for obvious mathematical reasons, you can't go above 100%. You can't go above 100% coverage or protection. So how it actually works is you're capped at 90%. There's no soft cap. There's no, okay, now it'll take longer to scale up to the next percent, take longer to scale up to the next percent after that. There's none of that fancy stuff. Instead, it caps at 90%. But that includes layering. So let's say you have Masterwork plate leggings, you have Masterwork plate jacket, all that fancy heavy armor, right? You're not getting the full effect of that. Not to mention, anyone who has armor piercing penalties will not be penalized for attacking you, which is that's just ridiculous. Hopefully they'll find a way around that. I don't know. There are some good comments on this thread as well, if you want to look that up. But I have to make my calculator again anyway, so I'll be far more familiar with the changes at that point. Yeah, quite a few things different. So I'm going to move on from armor now and just talk about one other thing that I'm really excited about, which is this. This is a not entirely too recent blog post from the actual developers. And it's talking about taking over towns. At the moment, the town override system does not apply to players. So you couldn't take over another faction city, for instance. But what you can do is influence the other factions. They don't even have to like you. You can just kill off a city, or maybe by chance they'll get killed off in recurring raids or whatnot, as the Swampers often do. And they can either just become a deserted city, or they can be taken over by other factions. And it can have ripple effects. As they mentioned here, taking out slave farms and camps around a town will reduce its access to vital supplies and have a negative impact on it. Taking out the boss of a strong defensive town will mean that nearby towns fall to invading enemies. What this means is that you can now possibly wipe factions off the map. And there are even quest lines for it. Like you can talk to Maul. That's their example here. But I've actually done this. I've talked to Maul. I've allied with her faction, and talked to her again. And she can give you this. It looks like a note, the note inventory item. And any character with that note in their inventory can talk to some flotsam ninjas. I don't remember. I don't remember if they have a special name, but Just hover over one until you see the speech bubble. And when you talk to them, you can actually bring up a dialogue. And it'll say, hey, I'm about to attack a Holy Nation city. Want to come with me? And they'll follow you and they'll defend you as an ally would normally do. It's awesome. I love seeing things like that. And hopefully that can expand further. It looks like the bigger factions aren't done yet. The smaller factions have some good details like that. And this significantly changes things from my current playthrough. The Holy Sword start. Yeah. I really need to get in there. I was actually planning on streaming this weekend, and unfortunately, yeah. I did the import and it updated the next day and changed all the armor again. It's like shit. That's why I stopped, because everything is changing too fast. I can't keep up with it and keep informing you guys. Keep giving good information in my streams. So yeah, I'm gonna take a step back. I am again back to playing Kenshi. I have new mods, especially things that add new factions, even a new race. If you're familiar with Dragon Age, there's one that adds the Darkspawn and a new city called the Deep Roads, which is in Holy Nation territory. And then hopefully they can spread out and use the town takeover mechanics. Unfortunately, they are significantly hostile, but you can do, of course, an allied start that's included with the mod. Be a Herlock, or you can be, I forget the name of the start, something about the Blight. You get 2 Herlock alphas and I think 8 basic Herlocks, so you can go out and start carnage immediately. Ah, it's gonna be great. So much stuff to share with you guys, so much stuff to experience, and I just have to get to it, get myself ready for that. But I am rambling on at this point. If you have any more questions about these recent changes or how I feel about it, of course, let me know in the comments. I am not done with this math, but I'm not ready to share the deeper intricacies either. So, hope you guys didn't miss me too much. I am still in the works. Oh yes, speaking of in the works, I've had some awesome ideas for mods, which have been pushed back by other testing. And I even have a very special video just started. It's just started. I can't even tell you what it is yet, but it will, let's just say it'll bring some attention to the channel. And it's all Kenshi. It's great. Okay. Thank you all for watching, and hopefully I'll get something up there for you guys soon. And take care. This is Terminac out.